Hello brothers and welcome to Sigma Old Man channel. Some people lose friends because they changed. Sigma males lose them because they never played pretend. Let's be honest. If you put a Sigma male in a room full of people, chances are he'll come out with less faith in humanity and zero new contacts. Not because he's cold, not because he's arrogant, but because he sees through people like glass, and what he sees isn't always worth keeping. Here's a hard pill to swallow. In a 2024 global study, over 65% of men admitted their friendships were surface level. That number drops even lower when you narrow it down to independent, high-mindset individuals. And when you isolate it to Sigma males, you're left with a population so selective they'd rather have a meaningful silence than a meaningless friendship. And while the world's out here screaming network, connect, and just vibe with everyone, Sigma males are in a quiet corner thinking, why should I bond with people I wouldn't even trust to water my plants? This video isn't about pity. It's not a motivational fluff fest. It's the brutal, glorious, untamed truth about why Sigma males have little to no friends and why that's not a weakness but a warning. So buckle up, because what you're about to hear will either offend your illusions or liberate your reality. Either way, it's going to be uncomfortable and unskippable. Let's begin. Number 1. They withhold access like currency. Sigma males treat access to themselves like it's gold, and for good reason. They don't hand it out like flyers at a mall. Most people give you everything on day one: life story, emotional baggage, even passwords to their social media. Sigma males don't. They move differently. They're not being secretive or arrogant. They just understand something most people don't. Energy is expensive, and access is a privilege, not a public service. When someone meets a Sigma male, they often feel like they're talking to a locked vault. Not because the Sigma is trying to be mysterious, but because he's scanning, watching, evaluating. Is this person real? Are they consistent? Do they bring peace or chaos? He's not impressed by charisma. He's not swayed by status. He wants to see if you can sit in silence without panicking. That's rare. And if you don't pass the vibe check, that door never opens, not even halfway. You'll get politeness, small talk, and maybe a nod in public. But that's it. No callbacks, no fake bonding, no emotional access pass. Just distance, clean and permanent. This frustrates people. They expect instant closeness. They're used to emotional fast food, quick vulnerability, trauma bonding, oversharing for attention. But a Sigma male is a private restaurant with no signboard. You don't get in by asking. You earn your seat by being consistent when no one's watching. It's not that he's antisocial. He just doesn't believe in letting chaos walk through the front door wearing a friendly face. Most people don't want connection. They want access to drain, distract, or dominate. A Sigma male senses that in seconds, and he doesn't entertain it. So people call him cold, distant, guarded. But the truth is he's none of that. He just protects his peace like it's sacred, because for him it is. And if that means having no friends rather than the wrong ones, so be it. He'll choose solitude over being surrounded by noise any day, because access to a Sigma male isn't just rare, it's earned. And most people, they don't make the cut. Number 2, they are not antisocial, they're anti-nonsense. Sigma males are not antisocial, they are not hiding from people, they are not afraid of conversations, relationships, or deep human connection. What they are allergic to is the nonsense that most social environments are built on. And unfortunately, nonsense is everywhere. They don't hate people. They hate the performance most people feel the need to put on. The fake smiles, the forced laughter, the recycled opinions people pick up from podcasts and parrot like their gospel. The Sigma male sees through it instantly, and once he does, he quietly checks out. He doesn't argue, he doesn't expose, he just leaves, mentally or physically. Lies irritate him, projection disgusts him. He can't stand being around people who constantly shift their insecurities onto others, trying to make their own brokenness feel normal. He doesn't need shallow validation or surface-level praise. Compliments don't impress him when they're coming from people who are clearly just trying to be liked. He doesn't want to be liked. He wants to be understood, and that rarely happens. Fake empathy is another thing he avoids like a disease. People who perform kindness for attention, people who care only when it benefits their image. The Sigma male recognizes when compassion is real and when it's just strategy. And when it's fake, he walks away. Groupthink is where he draws a firm line. He does not bend just to fit in. If everyone is saying the same thing, he questions it, not out of rebellion, but out of principle. He respects truth more than unity. He would rather be alone and right than popular and wrong. If the world was full of real people, authentic, grounded, emotionally intelligent, he would have friends. He would open up. He would connect. But those people are rare. Not extinct, but rare. And Sigma males are not desperate enough to fill their circle just to feel included. They would rather sit in silence than talk to a room full of masks. So no, they are not antisocial. They just refuse to participate in the social circus. They are not cold. They are precise. And until they meet someone real enough to match their energy, they will remain on the outside by choice, not by accident. Number 3, they're not lonely, they're on a mission. Sigma males aren't sitting around wondering why no one texts them back. They're not scrolling through contact lists hoping someone calls. They're not haunted by silence, because silence is where they operate best. What most people call loneliness, Sigma males call clarity. They don't chase company to escape themselves. They face themselves head-on, and that's what separates them. While many people collect friendships like comfort blankets, Sigma males see relationships through the lens of purpose. Is this connection aligned with my mission? Does it fuel my vision or distract me from it? If the answer is no, they don't entertain it. Not because they think they're better, but because they know what they're building requires unshakable focus. Most people can't handle that. They assume he's distant, cold, or arrogant, but that's just projection. What they're really seeing is a man who doesn't need them to feel whole, and that unsettles them. Society is obsessed with connection. Followers, likes, group chats, brunches, catching up. But Sigma males don't live in that rhythm. They live by something deeper, something internal, and it doesn't come with a notification sound. They're not allergic to friendship, they just don't make it a priority. If it happens naturally and aligns with their values, great. If not, they don't lose sleep over it. They're not walking around with emotional vacancies hoping someone fills them. They've already filled themselves with purpose, vision, and discipline. That doesn't leave much room for random social activity. To the outside world, that kind of independence feels threatening. People confuse self-sufficiency with superiority. But Sigma males aren't trying to impress anyone. They're building quietly. They're studying, crafting, moving in silence. That's not arrogance, it's alignment. They simply refuse to sacrifice progress for popularity. In fact, the only time they start losing themselves is when they let too many people in. So they learn early on, the fewer distractions, the sharper the edge, the lonelier the path, the clearer the vision. And that's why Sigma males often walk alone, not because they're lonely, but because they're locked in. They're not avoiding people, they're chasing purpose. And when you're on a mission, you don't stop to make friends, you keep moving until the mission is done. Number 4, they can't be entertained by mediocrity. Sigma males have a low tolerance for mental junk food. The moment a conversation drops into recycled gossip, shallow small talk, or debates about what happened in the latest Netflix series, they mentally leave the room, even if they're still physically sitting there. It's not because they're trying to be rude, it's because their mind rejects mediocrity the same way the body rejects poison. They can't pretend to be interested in things that don't stimulate them on a deeper level. They won't force themselves to laugh at jokes they've heard 100 times. They won't pretend to care about the drama someone's cousin posted on Instagram. Their brain just doesn't light up from that kind of noise. In fact, it shuts down. This is where the divide begins. Most people bond over shared distractions. They talk about the weather, celebrity breakups, trending scandals, and whatever's viral in the moment. But Sigma males don't build connections through distraction. They build them through depth. And since depth is rare, connection is rare too. Their inability to fake vibe isolates them. People take it personally when a Sigma doesn't match their energy. They assume he's bored with them, when in reality he's just bored with the empty content of the moment. He's not judging the person. He's simply refusing to lower his internal frequency to match a conversation that doesn't go anywhere. And here's where it gets tricky. Sigma males aren't always trying to have deep, life-altering discussions. They're not pretentious. They just crave authenticity. Even something funny or simple can spark their interest if it's real. But the moment it becomes performative, they check out. This makes them hard to read. People aren't used to someone who doesn't pretend to enjoy what they don't enjoy. Most fake it to avoid awkwardness. Sigma males don't. They let the silence happen. They let people feel the distance, and that quiet honesty makes others uncomfortable. But the Sigma doesn't care. He won't betray his mind just to fit in. If the environment is shallow, he becomes invisible. Not because he wants to be mysterious, but because mediocrity bores him, and boredom to a Sigma is a form of death. Number 5. They don't confuse proximity with loyalty. Sigma males understand something that most people completely miss. Just because someone is around you does not mean they are loyal to you. Proximity is not proof of loyalty. Being in the same room, attending the same events, liking the same posts, or checking in regularly means absolutely nothing if there is no integrity behind it. And Sigma males see that instantly. Most people build friendships based on convenience. You live nearby, you work together, you hang out in the same circles, so naturally a bond forms. But that bond is usually shallow. It is built on repetition, not depth, on routine, not trust. Sigma males do not operate like that. They are not impressed by how often someone shows up. They are watching how someone shows up. They evaluate people quietly. They pay attention to consistency, respect, honesty, and whether someone can keep their word when no one is watching, and that evaluation is constant. The moment someone shows signs of disloyalty, hidden envy, or performative support, the Sigma begins to withdraw. No confrontation, no dramatic exits, just silent elimination. Most people think loyalty means being visible. They think checking in equals care. But Sigma males have learned that some of the most present people are the quickest to disappear when things get real. Some of the most talkative friends are also the ones spreading secrets behind closed doors, and some of the loudest supporters are secretly hoping you fail. That is why Sigma males do not overvalue closeness. Someone can be near and still be a snake. Someone can be around you for years and never truly have your back. So they strip away the distractions and look at the core. Who is this person when there is no benefit involved? This brutal filter disqualifies the majority, not because people are evil, but because most are unreliable when tested. Sigma males do not have time for that. Their loyalty is real and they expect the same. They do not hand it out just because someone shows up often. Loyalty to them is sacred. So while most people are chasing quantity, the Sigma is chasing quality. He would rather have one solid connection than 10 fake ones. And if that means having no friends for long stretches of time, he accepts it because proximity can be faked. But loyalty? That either exists or it doesn't. Number 6, they intimidate without trying. Sigma males don't walk into a room demanding attention, but they get it anyway. Not because they're flashy or loud, but because their energy says something most people don't know how to read. It's not arrogance, it's not mystery for the sake of performance. It's a quiet, controlled presence that makes people start questioning themselves the moment he walks in. He doesn't speak to impress. He doesn't name drop. He's not trying to one-up anyone or compete. In fact, he often says very little. But in that silence, people start to feel seen, too seen. Because Sigma males don't look at how popular you are, how expensive your clothes are, or how many people know your name. They are unconsciously scanning for something else. Character, authenticity, consistency. That kind of attention unsettles people. We live in a world where performance is rewarded. Everyone's playing some role, but a Sigma male doesn't clap for performances. He sees behind the script. And when people sense that, they start to get nervous. Not because he's judging them out loud, but because he might actually see them beneath the layers. People pick up on that even if they can't explain it. They become overly talkative or suddenly defensive. Or they try too hard to prove something. That's not the Sigma's fault. He didn't ask them to perform. He just walked in calm and composed. And in doing so, reminded everyone how much of their energy is a front. This is what makes him intimidating. Not because he's better, but because he's unaffected. While others chase validation, the Sigma sits with indifference. While people gossip to bond, he stays silent. While people compete, he observes. And that emotional independence triggers insecurity in people who are used to controlling the room through noise and charm. Even authority figures can feel it. Bosses, leaders, influencers, people who are used to being the most respected in the room, often feel a quiet challenge in the Sigma's presence. Not an open threat, but a subtle reminder that power isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the man who says the least, watches the most, and needs nothing from anyone. That's why Sigma males intimidate without trying. Their presence exposes, their silence confronts, and their energy audits everyone in the room without saying a single word. Number 7, they don't need social capital to feel valuable. Sigma males don't measure their worth by how many people know their name, follow them online, or invite them to events. They couldn't care less about clout, popularity, or being plugged in. While the world scrambles to stay connected, visible, and validated, Sigma males operate on a completely different frequency. Their sense of value comes from within, not from social capital. They don't chase people. If someone walks away, they let them go without protest. No dramatic exits, no emotional begging, no back-and-forth texts trying to salvage a dying connection. They understand that most relationships today are built on convenience, not truth. People stick around because they need something, attention, status, support, or validation. Rarely is it because of loyalty or genuine alignment. That's why Sigma males detach so easily. Not because they're heartless, but because they've already calculated the cost of forced connections. They won't keep someone around just because it looks good. They won't attend events to be seen. And they definitely won't fake relationships just to gain access to influence or approval. That kind of networking feels dishonest, and they don't play games with their energy. Most people build social circles out of fear. Fear of missing out, fear of being alone, fear of losing status. Sigma males build nothing out of fear. If it's not rooted in truth, it's not built at all. They would rather stand alone in authenticity than sit at a full table surrounded by masks. When someone disappears from their life, they don't hunt for closure. They don't spiral into overthinking. Their self-worth isn't tied to how many people stick around. They value quality over quantity, substance over visibility. One solid relationship matters more to them than 100 shallow ones. In a world obsessed with being liked, the Sigma male is dangerous because he doesn't care if you like him or not. He's not trying to climb any social ladder. He's trying to master himself. And that kind of emotional self-sufficiency makes people uncomfortable. While others treat friendship as currency, Sigma males treat it as sacred. And if that means walking alone while everyone else clings to each other for survival, so be it. Sigma males aren't looking to survive socially, they're looking to live truthfully. Number 8. They abandon any circle that rewards conformity. Sigma males have a simple rule. If a group demands that you shrink yourself in order to stay, it is no longer worth staying in. The moment a social circle starts valuing sameness over authenticity and reward systems are built around blind agreement instead of personal truth, the Sigma male quietly slips out. No drama, no grand speech. Just a silent, clean exit. Most social groups are held together by unspoken rules. What to say, how to act, which opinions are acceptable, and when to stay quiet. At first, these rules seem harmless, but eventually they become chains. And the moment a Sigma male senses that his individuality is being treated like a threat, he leaves. Not to prove a point, but to protect his identity. He does not believe in forced unity. If agreement is mandatory, it is no longer a group, it is a cult. And the Sigma has no interest in being part of any environment where honesty costs you connection. Many people will fake opinions, adopt trendy views, or stay silent just to avoid being excluded. But Sigma males are wired differently. They would rather be excluded for being real than accepted for being fake. To the group, this kind of behavior is unsettling. They see the Sigma's departure as disloyalty or arrogance. They cannot understand why someone would walk away from comfort, support, and familiarity just because the rules of the room changed. But to the Sigma, staying would mean slow self-erasure. It would mean watering himself down to maintain peace. That is not freedom, that is silent suffocation. What makes this more powerful is the way the Sigma leaves. No arguments, no confrontations. He simply stops showing up, stops responding, stops participating, and that silence says more than words ever could. It is not bitterness, it is clarity. The Sigma knows that true belonging only exists where individuality is not punished. He is not looking for echo chambers. He is looking for real ones, people who value depth, truth, and raw expression. And if that cannot be found in a group, he walks alone. Because for the Sigma male, freedom is non-negotiable. If the cost of staying is pretending, then leaving is not a loss. It is a return to self. Number 9, they're misunderstood by both the weak and the powerful. Sigma males exist in a strange space, somewhere between invisibility and quiet dominance. They don't fully belong to any social group, power class, or identity circle. And because of that, they're misunderstood by almost everyone. The weak see their detachment as arrogance. The powerful see their independence as a threat. So both ends of the spectrum keep their distance. Weak people, especially those who rely on emotional validation, approval, or group belonging, often take the Sigma's calm detachment personally. They don't understand how someone can be unaffected by attention, unbothered by rejection, or uninterested in praise. To them it feels like rejection, even if the Sigma male has done nothing at all. His silence is taken as judgment, his focus is mistaken for coldness, and his ability to be alone is seen as a silent insult to those who need others to feel whole. On the other end, powerful people sense something different. They see that the Sigma male cannot be easily swayed, flattered, or manipulated. He doesn't respond to hierarchy. Titles mean nothing to him. Influence doesn't impress him, and that makes him unpredictable. The powerful prefer those who can be shaped, led, or controlled. But the Sigma stands in quiet resistance. Not loud rebellion, just unshakable self-direction. This makes the Sigma male socially tolerated but rarely fully embraced. He's invited but not deeply included, watched but not fully understood. He doesn't threaten with noise but with the fact that he plays by a rule book no one else is holding. People can't pin him down, categorize him, or make him choose sides. And that unsettles both the insecure and the influential. So he floats between the extremes. Too self-contained to be fully accepted by the needy, too ungovernable to be trusted by the elite. People admire his independence, but it also unnerves them. They praise his discipline, but secretly question his motives. He becomes the unknown variable in every room, the one person no one can fully predict, read, or control. And the Sigma is fine with that. He never needed to belong. He's not here to be understood by the masses or approved by the powerful. He's here to live by truth, not validation, even if it means standing alone in the middle, unclaimed but unshaken. Number 10, they don't idolize the social gods. Sigma males are immune to social hype. They do not fall for the loud voices, the trending personalities, or the high-status individuals that everyone else seems to worship. They are not drawn to fame, flash, or charisma. It does not matter how many followers someone has, how often they are praised, or how well they perform in public. None of it holds real value to a Sigma male. In a society built on appearances and popularity contests, this makes them dangerous. Not because they are aggressive, but because they cannot be influenced by reputation alone. The loudest person in the room does not impress them. The smoothest talker does not fool them. And the flashiest image means nothing unless there is real substance behind it. Sigma males listen to what is being said, but they also watch what is not. They observe the gaps between words and actions. That is where they decide a person's worth. This makes them unpredictable. Most people respond to power. They laugh harder around influential people. They agree faster. They try to attach themselves to rising stars. But a Sigma male does none of that. He will walk right past the so-called important person in the room and have a conversation with someone others overlook. If that person is real, he is drawn to depth, not status. Because of this, he's often excluded from the inner circles where social gods are worshipped. He does not play the game. He does not compliment to be liked. He does not pretend to be impressed. That makes people uncomfortable, especially those who are used to being adored without question. They cannot manipulate him. They cannot win him over with charm. And that means they cannot control him. The Sigma male's refusal to idolize others creates quiet tension. People do not know what to do with someone who does not crave their attention or approval. So instead of embracing him, they distance themselves. They stop inviting him. He becomes the ghost in the background, the one person who sees too much and says too little, and the Sigma is fine with that. He would rather be uninvited than be in a room where truth is replaced by performance. He is not interested in social hierarchies. He is interested in realness, and that is something popularity can never fake. Number 11, they never beg to be seen, so they become invisible. Sigma males are not in the business of being noticed. They do not wake up thinking about how to be seen, heard, or remembered. They do not build their identity around visibility. And they certainly do not chase attention just to feel alive. While the world scrambles to post, update, and check in for validation, the Sigma male stays still, unbothered, invisible, and fully at peace. They do not post their every move. They do not share personal moments for digital applause. They do not announce wins just to fish for praise. Their victories are private. Their struggles are silent, their lives are real but not public, and that confuses people. In a world where presence equals relevance, their absence looks like failure. But the truth is their silence is intentional. They do not chase messages. They do not double text. They do not ask, "Did you see my post?" or "Why haven't you replied?" If someone fades, they let them. If someone overlooks them, they do not react. They will never beg to be seen because they are not trying to fill a void. They are building something most people cannot see. But in today's digital culture, silence is misunderstood. If you're not posting, people assume you are losing. If you are not commenting, people assume you do not care. If you are not showing up in everyone's feed, people assume you have disappeared. And in many ways, the Sigma has. He becomes invisible, not because he lacks value, but because he refuses to play the game. People forget about him. He does not trend. He is not part of the gossip loop. He is not the first person thought of when people plan parties or tag friends online. He vanishes from the surface, but never from the core. And then something shifts. A crisis hits. A truth is needed. A project demands discipline. A room needs someone who does not fold under pressure. Suddenly the Sigma is remembered, not because he shouted, not because he begged, but because when it matters, he is the only one who shows up with substance. That is the paradox. He disappears when everyone wants to be seen. But when the masks fall off and the noise fades, he becomes the only one who actually matters. Number 12, they detach the moment they feel dependency. Sigma males can handle connection, but they will never tolerate emotional dependency. The moment someone starts relying on them for constant support, validation, or emotional stability, a silent alarm goes off in their mind. And once that line is crossed, they begin to detach, calmly, quietly, and often for good. They are not afraid of getting close. In fact, when the connection is healthy, grounded, and respectful of independence, Sigma males can form incredibly deep bonds. But the second they sense someone leaning too heavily on them, expecting them to be a constant emotional crutch, they start pulling away, not out of cruelty, but out of self-preservation. Most people do not realize they are being needy. They think constantly venting, always needing reassurance or demanding attention is normal. But Sigma males are hypersensitive to energy. They feel when someone is offloading emotional chaos onto them. They notice when a conversation shifts from genuine connection to subtle dependence, and they refuse to carry weight that is not theirs. What makes them different is their response. They do not argue, they do not explain, they do not guilt trip or shame. They just start reducing their presence. Fewer responses, less availability, more distance. They do not give warnings, they give space. And by the time the other person realizes what is happening, the Sigma is already emotionally gone. This can be confusing for people who are used to codependent relationships. They expect the other person to tolerate the weight of their unhealed emotions. But Sigma males are not therapists, fixers, or saviors. They are autonomous by nature, and they expect the same from others. If someone cannot stand on their own emotionally, the Sigma will not hold them up. They are not heartless, they are strategic. They know that dependency kills authenticity. Once someone starts needing them to feel okay, the relationship becomes unbalanced. And the Sigma male cannot thrive in emotional contracts that require constant rescue. So they detach, sometimes slowly, sometimes instantly, but always completely. Because for a Sigma male, love without freedom is a trap. And once a connection feels like a cage, there is only one outcome: disappearance. Not to punish, but to protect their peace. Sigma males do not lack friends because they are broken. They lack friends because they are built different. In a world obsessed with clout, comfort, and conformity, they choose truth over popularity, solitude over noise, and alignment over attachment. Their isolation is not a cry for help, it's a boundary, a filter, a quiet rebellion against shallow bonds, fake smiles, emotional manipulation, and validation addiction. They are not trying to be hard to reach. They just refuse to lower their standards. They're not antisocial, they're anti-nonsense, and they do not disappear because they hate people. They disappear because most of what people call connection is just mutual distraction. Sigma males walk alone not out of pride, but out of principle. Their solitude is a sanctuary, not a sentence. Their silence is not emptiness, it's energy being preserved for something that actually matters. And if that makes them invisible, intimidating, or misunderstood, so be it. They did not come to be liked. They came to be real. If this resonated with you on a deep level, don't just scroll away, hit that subscribe button and join a tribe that values truth over trends. Like the video if you felt seen. Drop a comment and let the world know how the Sigma path has shaped your life or exposed the fake around you. And most importantly, share this with someone who needs to understand that being alone doesn't mean being lost. This isn't just content, it's a mirror. And if you saw yourself in it, you already know. You lead in silence.